Hey, Celtics Nation! We're back with an exclusive video and the latest updates on our beloved Boston Celtics. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. This way, you'll always stay up to date and never miss out on any exclusive news. The NBA world woke up to a whirlwind of whispers, shock, and speculation as news broke that the Boston Celtics, fresh off their championship parade, are reportedly making a move that no one saw coming, according to multiple sources close to the situation. The Celtics are in advanced talks to bring Bobby Portis to Boston. Yes, that Bobby Portis, the heart and soul forward from the Milwaukee Bucks, known for his grit, energy, and fiery play. While the deal hasn't been officially confirmed, the buzz is loud and getting louder by the minute. The rumor mill is churning, and fans everywhere are asking the same question: why would Boston make such a bold move right after claiming banner number 18? Is this a power play to cement a dynasty? Or is there more going on behind the scenes that the public hasn't yet seen? What we do know is that when Brad Stevens makes a move, it's never without purpose, and if Portis really is on his way to Beantown, the league better brace itself for a whole new level of intensity coming out of the TD Garden. This could be the beginning of something massive or a smokescreen hiding a much bigger play. Bringing Bobby Portis into the Celtics system would be nothing short of transformative and controversial. Known for his aggressive rebounding, high motor, and intense personality, Portis is not the typical Celtic way player, at least not at first glance. But dig deeper and you'll realize this might be exactly why Stevens is interested. Boston has prided itself on defense, hustle, and hard qualities that Portis has in spades. Pairing him with the likes of Drew Holiday and Derek White could create one of the most relentless defensive trios in the league. But it's not just about defense. Portis brings scoring punch off the bench, the kind that could maintain leads. While Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown rest, imagine the energy at the Garden when Portis checks in. The crowd feeding off his intensity. There's also a strategic edge to consider. With Al Horford aging and Kristaps Porzingis a constant injury, the Celtics might be eyeing long-term front-court insurance. Portis provides exactly that: reliable minutes, veteran presence, and playoff experience. He knows how to win, and he knows how to fight. The question now becomes, is he ready to wear green and white? And is Boston ready for the wild ride that comes with Bobby Buckets? The timing of this potential acquisition is what's most intriguing. Fresh off a championship, most teams might sit back, relax, and let the roster breathe. But not Boston. If there's truth to this rumor, it signals a front office that's hungry not just for one ring, but for multiple. And while the Celtics core is arguably the most balanced in the league, the addition of someone like Portis could tilt that balance into outright dominance. The ripple effects across the Eastern Conference would be immediate. Milwaukee, already reeling from internal changes and disappointing playoff exits, would lose one of its most passionate players. That alone would be a psychological blow. Portis has been the Bucks' spark plug, the guy who rallies teammates and ignites the fans. Losing him to a rival, especially this rival, could deepen the rift in an already shaky Milwaukee structure. Meanwhile, the Celtics would be sending a clear message to teams like the Knicks, Heat, and Sixers. They're not satisfied. They're hunting for greatness, and sometimes greatness requires risks. Portis may not be the most glamorous name, but he might just be the missing piece in Boston's long-term blueprint. Now, let's not pretend this move would come without its complications. Bobby Portis is a player who thrives on emotion, sometimes to his detriment. There have been moments in his career where that fire burned a little too hot. Flagrant fouls, technicals, heated altercations. He's no stranger to the darker side of competitiveness, and the Boston Celtics, for all their recent success, have built a culture of control, discipline, and poise. Integrating Portis would mean adjusting that culture to accommodate someone who doesn't always fit the mold. But maybe that's the point. Maybe Boston feels it's time to inject a little chaos into their finely tuned machine. Championship teams often face the risk of complacency after tasting victory. Portis would all but eliminate that risk. He keeps people accountable. He keeps the energy up. And most importantly, he cares. He wears his emotions on his sleeve. And that kind of passion can be contagious. The locker room dynamic would certainly change. And some players might not welcome that change. But if anyone can balance that out, it's head coach Joe Mazzulla, who's shown he can manage egos and keep stars locked in. And let's talk about the money. Bobby Portis isn't exactly on a bargain contract. If this deal goes down, someone in Boston has to move. Could that be Sam Hauser, Peyton Pritchard? Maybe even a bigger name. The Celtics front office has been strategic with their finances, especially after signing Brown and Tatum to max deals. Adding Portis would push them deeper into luxury tax territory, a move ownership might be hesitant to approve, unless they believe Portis can be a difference maker in another title run. There's also the trade mechanics to consider. Would this be a straight swap, a multi-team deal, or even a sign-and-trade scenario? Each path presents its own challenges and ripple effects across the league. Fans may love the idea of Portis in green, but there's a real cost associated with such a move. Not just in dollars, but in locker room continuity and future cap flexibility. Still, if the Celtics truly believe their championship window is now, then maybe cost becomes a secondary concern. After all, flags fly forever and Bobby Portis might be the next banner building block. Milwaukee's reaction to this rumor will be fascinating to watch. If true, the Bucks would be losing not just a productive forward, but one of their most beloved and emotionally impactful players. Portis is a fan favorite in Milwaukee, his name chanted through the Fisher Forum, with a kind of loyalty usually reserved for franchise stars. His gritty performances in the 2021 title run made him a legend in that city. So how do the Bucks let a player like that walk? Are they cutting costs, reshaping their roster? Or is there tension we haven't seen between Portis and the front office? Whatever the reason, allowing him to walk to a direct rival would be a massive PR and strategic misstep. It could also signal the start of a deeper rebuild or retooling process in Milwaukee, with GNS always a flight risk when it comes to long-term commitment. Losing Portis might rattle more than just the fans. And if Portis leaves because he sees more potential in Boston's future than Milwaukee's present, that says something very loud about the state of the East. Let's be clear, Bobby Portis to the Celtics is not just a basketball story, it's a culture shift. It's a move that suggests Boston wants to get louder, grittier, meaner. For years, critics have said the Celtics were too nice, too finesse heavy. They had talent, sure, but did they have the dogs? Portis is the definition of a dog. He barks, he bites, and he never backs down. He's the type of player who punches a teammate in practice if he's slacking, literally. Ask Nikola Mirotic. That edge might be exactly what Boston needs to avoid the dreaded championship hangover. Tatum and Brown are elite talents, but they're not vocal alphas. Portis, he is. If this rumor has legs, it means the Celtics are done waiting for leadership to emerge naturally. They're importing Itra, unapologetic, and ready to spark chaos. It's a risky bet. Chemistry is delicate. One wrong personality can tank a season, but if it works, Boston becomes not just scary, but unstoppable. They'll have skill, system, and now a soul who's not afraid to scrap for every possession. One thing fans need to consider is the mental warfare this potential move could create. If Portis does in fact land in Boston, just imagine the Eastern Conference playoffs. Picture a second-round matchup, Celtics versus Bucks, emotions running high, and Portis stepping onto the court in green and white, staring down his former teammates. That's not just a game, it's a war, and it's one Boston would relish. The psychological advantage could be massive. Portis knows Milwaukee's schemes, their tendencies, their weaknesses, and emotionally, he'd be playing with a chip the size of a mountain. Every rebound, every hard foul, every stare down would be layered with meaning. It would give Boston a mental edge, not just over Milwaukee, but over the entire conference. Teams fear chaos, and Portis is chaos-controlled, focused, playoff grade. Chaos. It's also about the message it sends to Tatum and Brown. We're all in. That kind of support from the front office strengthens the core's trust and belief. It tells the superstars, we're not resting on last year's glory, we're hunting legacies. And for a city like Boston, with expectations baked into its DNA, that attitude is everything. But before we continue, please remember to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest news about the Boston Celtics. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. Even from a branding perspective, this move makes waves. Bobby Portis is a walking highlight reel, a quote machine, and a fan engagement magnet. His personality is electric, his celebrations iconic, and his presence larger than life. For a YouTube generation, Portis is content. He brings drama, energy, and viral potential on and off the court. Think about the memes, the mic'd up moments, the playoff snarls. Boston fans, already some of the most passionate in sports, would eat it up. Imagine him flexing after an N1 in Game 5 of the conference finals, screaming at the crowd, veins popping, sweat flying. That's a brand moment. That's unforgettable. The Celtics have stars. Yes, but Portis brings narrative. He turns games into stories, and in the modern NBA, stories sell tickets, they build fan bases, they create legends. Whether you love him or hate him, you feel something when Bobby's on the court. And that's exactly the kind of energy that keeps a team in the headlines. And on the championship path, this rumored deal isn't just basketball, it's box office, and Boston might be ready to buy all the tickets, but not everyone's convinced. There are doubters, and rightfully so. Some analysts argue that Portis might disrupt the Celtics' chemistry, that his high emotions and alpha energy could clash with the calm demeanor of Tatum, or the quiet leadership of Brown. Could he become a locker room problem? Could his minutes cause friction with guys like Horford or Cornet? That's not a small question. Internal balance is often what separates contenders from disasters. If Portis demands more than he's given, things could spiral. There's also the risk of regression. Portis has had ups and downs throughout his career. In the wrong system, he's inefficient. In the wrong role, he's frustrated. Would Joe Mazzulla know how to use him? Would Portis accept being the 6th or 7th option on some nights? These are not small concerns. They're real. Boston would be betting not just on talent, but on fit mentally, emotionally, and systemically. And in a league full of egos and expectations, that's a big gamble. Still, no championship comes without risk. The only question is, are the Celtics willing to take that leap? Knowing the landing could be historic or hard. On the other hand, what if this whole thing is just smoke? A brilliant misdirection by Brad Stevens and company to shift attention elsewhere while they work on a completely different move. The Celtics front office is known for keeping things close to the chest. Maybe the Portis rumor is a leverage play aimed at pushing another team into action, or signaling to Horford and others that no one spot is safe. Maybe it's just noise. But even if it is, the fact that this rumor feels believable says something. It speaks to the league's perception of Boston as a franchise that's never satisfied. A team that won't sit still. That perception alone has value. It keeps opponents guessing. It keeps players motivated, and it reminds the entire NBA, Boston is playing chess, not checkers. Portis may never wear the green jersey, but his name is now in the mix, and that mix is volatile. The ripple effects have already started, whether the deal happens or not. And for a front office looking to dominate the narrative as much as the game, that's a win in itself. So where do we go from here? For now, it's a waiting game. Sources say talks are ongoing, with multiple layers to the negotiation, but nothing is done, nothing is signed. And that limbo is where rumors thrive. Fans will speculate, analysts will debate, and YouTubers like US will dive deep into every angle, every possibility, every emotional ripple. Because this story has legs. Whether it ends with Bobby Portis in a Celtics uniform, or just becomes another chapter in Boston's off-season drama, it's captured the imagination of the basketball world. And that's the power of the modern NBA, where even a rumor can shift conversations, rosters, and futures. So stay tuned, stay sharp, and remember, in today's league, anything can happen. Especially when Boston is involved, because when the Celtics start moving pieces, they're not just chasing wins, they're building legacies. And if Bobby Portis is truly their next move, one thing's for sure, it's about to get loud in the Garden. Very, very loud. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Boston Celtics, please subscribe to our channel and give the video a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.